Such an interesting dude. And I don't know what it is about his singing that I like am so attracted to, but there's this it's just an interesting delivery, like the way I would expect like a really methodical serial killer to sing a song. Like that is how he sings, and it makes everything so goddamn pins and needly when you're listening to him. Hey, everybody out there, welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy, it's John, and we are here to discuss a song. Today, the man sipping his cup of, I assume, tea, since it's over there. I've got my coffee. Uh, he's up to bat, so he's going to be offering up something for the class today. What have you got for us today, my friend?
You're absolutely right. And it's Yorkshire tea, you bastard. So we are going back to an artist who we have previously visited. Um, I have to say, not the biggest of viewer magnets out of the bands that we cover, but a favourite of mine and becoming a favourite of yours, and that is Tindersticks.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and
Excellent.
so
This is an Andy
I
Magnet.
was I was toying with which sort of song to give you. I had about three in mind, to be honest with you, out of the fairly large catalogue. And I stumbled across this video only a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, yep, that is the kitty.
Hmm.
So you're going to see a song um, called Show Me Everything.
Okay.
Yes, it's their failed audition for the Magic Circle. And it's a live performance.
Okay, I was gonna ask what made the video that like the one as you, but now I get it. Okay, a live performance, which
Yeah.
I believe the last two that we've done that you've sort of exposed me to, they were just studio
Yeah.
versions, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
they, they 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 can become a different beast when they play live, and there's different aspects to it, but I'll explain later. But I thought it'd be nice for you to see them perform,
Oh
and
yeah,
its
for sure. No, I'm looking forward to this.
quality is really good.
Great. Great.
So,
Cool. All right. Well, let me go off. I'm excited to give these guys a listen, live performance and all. This will be great. Um, and I'll come back and let you know what I think.
Show me, show me, show me. Complexity, treachery. We watch through glass. We see nothing. Latex on my fingertips. We touch through glass. We see nothing. Are we carried? Are we born? Scattered like stone.
There's something really soothing about all of this, but every time, or most of the times as I can recall, when I listen to the Tindersticks, there is this soothing nature to the music, as I just said, but when he starts singing, there is this I don't know if it's like hesitation or trepidation or some wavering emotion that carries through his voice and his sound that makes everything just a little bit uneasy. And that's great. That's super atmospheric and it's like cinematic. Um and it evokes feelings in you that you wouldn't think are there at face value, but you have to sift to find and feel them and to understand them. But that's exactly what it's like. I've found oftentimes listening to these guys, which I think is why I'm so attracted to this band and why I've loved most everything that I've heard from them to this point, and I want to hear more and more every time I do listen to them. So let's press on and see where we go.
Forever, try to see and survive alone. Show me everything. Show me. Show me everything. I can't fall. It's been great to be invited to be here. Beautiful room, great people. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, that was thoroughly enjoyable. I loved how most of the song was just this atmospheric like mood. Um, all the instruments for most of the time were playing like these interest. They were all like no one was taking the spotlight. Everyone was doing their part. And when something faded in and out, it had all that much more magnitude and made it stand out even more. That hollow body guitar that was playing that little riff, when it would fade out and then come back in, every time it came back in, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And the saxophone, when he was playing the larger, deeper saxophone, that sort of sustained sound commingling with that hollow body guitar almost had a similar type sound to it, and that was great. That drummer, and by the way, anybody who plays traditional drums like the traditional jazz, like stance or hold on the sticks, kudos to you. Awesome, awesome drumming, simple but very good, very thorough and on point, and it just kept the song moving so well. Great backing vocals by I believe it was the bass player, and some great bass in there as well. Um, the lyrics or the vocals I've already talked about. It was just again it only puts the mood and the feeling and the sort of atmosphere of the song under further spotlight. Um, and that saxophone he did toward the end of that lead, if you we will here if we'll use that as a term. Toward the end of that lead, he almost started doing what the singer does, and his name escapes me. What the singer does with his voice, where it's just kind of like on the edge of shake. In this song, it was a little bit more reined in, but it's still that feeling like his saxophone felt like what the emotions or the mood of the song could go at any moment. Like that's the twist and turn it could take. That screeching, almost coming off the rail sound. Um, just really good and a great performance. And I don't buy for a second that his voice is that bad because it sounded great. I'm sure it was, but it sounded great. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about this performance. This wasn't that long ago, 11 years ago or so. 12 now, I guess, yeah. But yeah, let's get back to John and discuss this.
Okay, you're back. What did you think of Show Me Everything live from Vienna?
This was good stuff. I had another great experience with Tindersticks. Man, they had a lot of real estate on that stage. Like I'm so used to seeing bands very like, cloistered together, but this was like everyone had their own bubble. They're all spaced out. This was
Sorry, Andy. I think the reason for that is this was a live performance, but for a radio station, and there just happened to be an audience there.
okay.
Not
Okay.
performing for the audience, and then it was that was the primary concern was the broadcast
Yeah. Yeah.
to a radio station. So I guess that's why they set it out the way they did.
Yeah,
Which
no,
is
but it was actually the way it was shot was really good too because like I could like the focal point would be like the person in the foreground, but then there would be like machinations happening in the background that you could sort of follow along with and help you predict what was coming and all this. So I really enjoyed it. It was a great live performance. Um, man, this singer whose name escapes me. Can you remind me of that?
Stuart Staples.
Just such an interesting dude. And I don't know what it is about his singing that I like am so attracted to, but there's this it's just an interesting delivery. Um this is not going to sound like a compliment at all, but there's almost this like the way I would expect like a really methodical serial killer to sing a song. Like that is how he sings, and it makes everything so goddamn pins and needly when you're listening to him. That's why I enjoy it. I love it. It's like I guess the same feeling that people who love to watch horror movies put themselves through when they go to endeavor to do that. It's the same sort of like he kind of gives you the ick, but in the best way. And I really enjoy that visceral experience every time I listen to him. So there's this beautiful, almost jazz-like feel to the tune as it starts. But there's that slightly fuzzed semi-hollow that's played by the other guitarist, so not Stuart. that adds a little bit of edge to it, like this little bit of lower end and again slightly fuzz sound to it. And I love the resonance of a semi-hollow guitar, electric guitar, and it has that as well, which is really great. And I'm loving this is one of the most simple things I've liked in a song, and we've liked plenty of them, block hits and weird little button presses and shit like that. But the way the drummer snare is tuned gives it the most delicious pop when he's playing back there. And I for whatever reason I really enjoy that sound, that pop that snare is giving. And I also really admire his like jazz style drumming, the way he holds
Yes.
his sticks. The first drummer I ever played in a band with was taught by a guy who was taught by himself by is it Buddy Rich or Buddy one of
Buddy
the big
Rich.
yeah Buddy Rich, one of the, so his teacher was taught by Buddy Rich, so he came up playing like that, and it was he's always been like very like gatekeeperish about that, like only the best drummers drum like this. And so now I have this reverence for it that he's ingrained to me, because he's right, all the great jazz drummers do play like that.
Yeah.
So I was watching him going, oh man, and he was keeping such a good beat back there, so I really enjoyed that. And again, the singer has this way of adding this bit of unease. So Stort's voice is like his vocal styling is almost it has this calming and relaxed nature to it, but there's also this tinge of like sinister nature to it, or trepidation, or this some wavering emotion that's affecting his voice is going on. And it just makes it that much more interesting. um Toward the 1/3 marker in the song, there the baritone sax starts like sliding in these sustained notes that fill out the sound, and specifically it really complements that aforementioned guitar riff played by the other guitarist, because the guitarist finishes his line in a pitch or a tone that is slightly akin to the tone of the baritone sax, and then the sax picks up and sustains, so it's like this fluid passing of the baton sound that you have going on there. And I just loved that, the play between those two instruments. The keys also add these light atmospheric tinkles to the mix that help give the song some variation in the sound, like I've said before, just this nice seasoning placed over the dish. And the bassist provides these great harmonies and vocal support, like especially the repetition of the "show me" refrain that's going on in the song, and it begins to slowly build in sound and volume as things like escalate from that point on. And we see the saxophonist, and again, this is sort of where like the camera angles help out. I'm seeing him literally like trade out his saxophones in the back. And we see him trade in his baritone for what I think is a tenor, and he begins to just wail on it. And the drums start peppering in these fills as well, that to underscore the enhanced fervor of this bit of the song. And the sax is like beautiful as it comes like in and goes through, like it reaches its climax. But there's this, like right as it's getting to the like after the climax, there's this, I guess he like, it feels like he's pushing the envelope too far, which I'm sure is something symbolic. But like he starts to veer off the track, and you're like sitting there like, he's getting this out of me as he's doing that, because he's like, it's just like all over the place. But in a way that is oddly appropriate. I don't know. It didn't sound bad or off to me, even though I know he was going for this sort of like, again, coming off the rails kind of sound. Um, and it's honestly, after this, it kind of falls back into the more hushed portion of the song, like we got from the beginning, the subdued nature, and then it fades to silence. And it's a ponderous tune, even though it's pretty simple. Though it is like wildly exploratory in its sound. Though it's not, forgive me, it's not wildly exploratory in its sound outside of what the saxophone did. It is, however, a terrific exhibition in sound dynamics, and it's undeniably a mood piece. Which honestly, at this point, I feel like a broken record on, because I think I've said something similar to that effect on the other two songs, where they are these mood pieces, and sound dynamics and the fluidity of the music is like what's important, not like how difficult or complex the riff is, or the effects used or anything like that. it's really beautiful in its simplicity, and maybe there's something I'm finding irony in the stage setup and the space that all these musicians were given physically, because their songs have so much space in them to work, and yet they don't feel empty. They just let the sound kind of like fill the gap, and they don't have to add in a bunch of stuff. It's just all breathing room of music. And I really, really love that. And it's what is like that coupled with his voice is what attracts me the most to this band. Like they're playing with sound dynamics and open space and music, and his odd, like unwell but in the best way vocal delivery. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. His unnerving delivery and the sound dynamics are what keep me coming back to these guys and enjoying what you've offered up. So yeah, I would like to, you said you had two or three and this was one of them. I assume that means you have two more hopefully in the hopper somewhere down the road, because I enjoy these guys.
Oh yeah, yeah, plenty, plenty. Cool. All right. Well, we have discussed Tindersticks twice already on this channel. I can't remember. I don't think I have, but I will create a playlist for all three of the reactions. You'll be able to, and I'll put the link in below, and you'll be able to go and check out previous ones where we talk more extensively about the band. So you can go check that out. So I'll just concentrate on this and the album as well. So this is from a concert, March the 3rd, 2012. As I said, it's a radio station session at the ORF Radio Kulturhaus in Vienna. And this song, I think they did about a dozen songs from the track listing I saw. I saw about 3 or 4 off this. I've still got some more to watch. I did another track, which is another standout of this album, really well as well. So this is from their ninth studio album, sorry, The Something Rain, which came out in 2012 as well. And that's it there. So just to give you some sort of chronology to it, Tindersticks 1 came out in 93, and that has Jism on it, which you heard. Tindersticks 2 in 95, Curtains in 97, and from that, Greg and Chris reacted to Let's Pretend, and that was my first Ko-fi request to them. And then it's Simple Pleasures 99, Can Our Love 2001, which had People Keep Coming Around, which you reacted to. Waiting for the Moon 2003, The Hungry Soul 2006, Falling Down the Mountain 2010, and then The Something Rain 2012. Show Me Everything, amongst others. So I'll be honest with you. First 3 albums, absolute gold standard. Yeah, almost perfect albums, 3 of them. Simple Pleasures down a notch, Can I Love down a notch, and it's this different direction to incorporate this sort of soul back into it. Waiting for the Moon is really good, has its moments, but is inconsistent. Same with The Hungry Soul. Falling Down the Mountain, the same as well. And The Something Rain was seen by many as a kind of return. Not quite the top 3, but definitely the couple after it in terms of where it sits. You know, it's a really, really good album. So the idea for this album came from a sort of story that was written by the keyboard player David Bolter, which then became the opening track, Chocolate, which is a 9-minute sort of spoken word narrative. I can't really tell you anything about it because it will spoil it. It has a classic twist in it. And the album was recorded in stages over a year or so in the band studio, Le Chien Chanceux, which is French for Lucky Dog Studios, which was their label name, in Limousin in France. I believe it's just outside Limoges, which is in a converted barn at the back of Stuart Staples' house where he lives with his wife. And I kind of know the Limoges area of and Limousin area of France. Pretty cool. So in an interview, Staples said that the album's title was inspired by a story related to him by guitarist David Kitt, who actually worked on the album. He'd been sent to a songwriting workshop in the States, and a fellow attendee was having trouble finding a suitable adjective to describe the song he's writing, so it came up with The Something Rain, and it stuck. The album's cover, which you probably can't see very well here, but you went over a thumbnail. It's lots of little atmospheric pictures of sort of
Yeah.
rain and clouds and stuff. That was done by Staples' wife, Suzanne Osborne, and it's called Skies, September 10 to September 11. Of the album, I think there's some really good songs on there, and it is great. Music OMH said the Something Rain sees the band in superlative form. It may be nearly 2 decades since their debut album, but the Something Rain sounds like a band in their prime, switching between styles effortlessly and enjoying a new lease of life. And Drowned in Sound wrote, for the first time in nearly a decade, Tindersticks sound urgent again. The result is a glorious, heady swirl of a record. To be able to create something this beautiful at such an advanced stage in a band's lifespan is true testament to the skill and sorcery found in every limb, larynx, and lovelorn heart of this band. So you're getting the idea that people are saying, yeah, this is a return to form.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Keyboardist David Bolter later selected this album as his favorite Tindersticks album in a sort of 2016 interview. So it's usually the latest one, but he picked that one. So just to recap, from that early sound you heard from Jism with the fantastic strings, Dickon Hinchcliffe had left the band at this point. So the personnel are, some of them already aforementioned. So David Bolter, piano and organ. Neil Fraser, electric. This is the album credits, but Neil Fraser, electric and acoustic guitar. He was the other guitarist. Earl Harvin, drums, percussion. Dan McKenna, bass, and Stuart Staples, vocals. And there was additional personnel on the album. And I mentioned it because it's something really interesting. So Thomas Block, with CH rather than CK, he played the crystal bachet, I believe it's called, which is an instrument invented in France in 1952 and is made of 56 chromatically tuned glass rods. And to play it, musicians rub the rods with wet fingertips. It is a range of 5 octaves and is related to the glass harmonica. I didn't even know that existed either. But so there's almost this ringing sound, I guess, like almost wine glass, I guess. That's cool. Terry Edwards, saxophone. Gina Foster, vocals. David Kitt, aforementioned writer, guitar. Andy Nice, cello and soprano saxo. Julian Siegel, bass clarinet and tenor saxophone. And Will Wide, chromatic harmonica. So I will go through the lyrics and a tiny bit about this song, not that I have particularly read. So show me, show me, show me, show me. Complexities, treacheries. We watch through glass, we see nothing. Latex on my fingertips, we touch through glass, we see nothing. All we've carried, all we've owned, scattered like stones. Show me, all the mess, all the wrong turns. We could take these stones, build something. We could try forever for trying's sake and survive alone. You show me everything. Show me. You show me everything I can't afford. Show me. So many new moons to pull us around. So many new stars to guide us. So what do you say? You show me everything I can't afford. Bound together, separate. Take these stones, build something. Define the walls, decorate. Our mouths on the glass. We believe we taste. Everything we could have had, everything that belongs to us. And then this is where he's singing at the same time, the other guy. Show me or never find a way to show me. Words said in anger and in grief. Show me. Take these stones. Show me. Throw something. You'll never find a way to show me. Don't duck again. Don't hesitate. Show me. The glass that holds the very air we breathe. You'll never find a way to show me. And you, show me. You show me everything. Show me. I can't afford. You'll never find a way to show me. Yeah, you, show me everything. Show me. And then show me is repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 29 times. 30 times, I beg your pardon, I missed one. And that's the end. Now, this is obviously the live version. The studio version, slightly different. And the key differences are there's female backing vocalists singing "Show Me," and it's quite strange because it adds a kind of urgency and a different sort of tension between his voice and their voices. I don't know if it's just one person. Yeah, the performance overall is more surgical and cleaner, and because of that, and the brass is used more sparingly. It's just in the climax bit. It's not in any other bits. It doesn't follow the guitar or anything like that. It kind of makes it more confrontational, um, especially at the crescendo. And the overall effect is this sort of clinical feeling tempest. And it is low key disturbing, stroke threatening.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking
So you
about
get
what you.
more, you get even more of that feeling from the studio version than from the live one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There's more. There's
they
more
still
warmth in his
achieved it.
voice.
Given that I haven't listened to the studio and just listened to this, I
Yeah,
still got some
exactly.
ick, but I'd love to hear that difference that you're underscoring because it to me that feeling that I get is one of the reasons I enjoy listening to these guys because they all have that outside of all of their songs just being really like I don't know like I remember is it people keep coming around was just this groove rider where they would like there was like each instrument kind of did their own thing and there's a little bit of a baton passing thing going on there but it was just like this movement that you felt like you were along the ride for. And then Jism was this whole other like animal, but also had that you just get captured by the music and the mood that it creates. This had that as well. So yeah, but I just love to hear that studio version to pick up on what you're alluding to here.
Yeah, I think what they have is I think they have a real confidence in them that their music is enough,
Yeah.
and they kind of know what they're doing, and so when they play a bit, they know that that fills it out, and people can ride with it until the next part, or it fits together. I mean, I guess that's what it gets to me.
Yeah, there's no
His
sign
voice,
of overcompensation in their
yeah,
music at
yeah,
all.
they don't really. Very, no, I can't think of an instance where they complicate it at all. Um, his voice you mentioned, yeah. As I said, the first time I ever heard this, a guy friend did me a tape of the first album, and it was "What the hell am I listening to?" Because it is in a slightly unusual voice. I think that was back in '93 or '94. I think we probably get more of a different array of voices nowadays than we did back then.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, with like the Wedding Present in the late '80s, his voice and accent stood out, and it's commonplace now. So context, but there is this thing with him. It's strange because it's slightly this, top of the nose or back of the throat sort of sound.
Mhm.
It's cold and warm at the same time. It is clinical but emotive at the same time. You kind of get this idea of this guy is in control and stuff, and then he starts singing about things, and you get bits of emotion floating to the top. And it's like seeing, I don't know, as a bank manager or something going all sort of emotional. That's what sets you on edge because you can't really expect it from his
Mhm.
vocal persona to suddenly say these weird or wonderful things or hit those notes and that. And that's what I think makes it's uncomfortable, but as you say, in a good way.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's another bipolarity in his approach is like the soothing nature that
yeah,
is also like dovetails into that unnerving feeling you get from the stoic, almost stoic delivery, right? Because
yeah,
you can find comfort in that, but then when you start to think about it and some of the lyrics ring true, you're thinking, oh, with that voice saying those things, that's unnerving.
we're in shit now.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly.
Brilliant. I mean, this song, it's quite opaque, really, isn't it? I mean, there's the idea of show me, etc. I mean, I there's some really interesting bits in here, and they kick up different things, so I can't pin it down. I mean, so we're talking about watching through glass and seeing the latex on my fingertips. I mean, I instantly thought of like surgical gloves, which obviously people wear now to prevent fingerprints. But whether this is a surgical sort of looking at life or whether it's we see through glass, we see nothing. And then he talks about the stones, how we can build something with stones or we could smash things down. So I think it's about connection and disconnection, or whether that's the person he's talking to or looking through society through from behind glass, like not being involved and not being connected.
Yeah, the disconnect. This is what I got from it. The latex gloves and the handling of glass reminded me of like a lab tech or a scientist looking at something from underneath of a microscope, which is a really detached thing, and it's like it takes the humanity out of it a little bit, as opposed to getting in there and working with your hands. It's like, I'm going to observe this from afar and remove myself from it on an emotional level or a physical level,
Yes.
which is really an interesting,
Clinical. Clinical,
yeah,
yeah.
it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and there's other images again, like the stone building and stuff like that. Take these, our mouths on the glass, we believe we taste. I mean, it's fascinating. And you get different images which maybe aren't connected through the different things he says, but overall it's just a cool song, you know,
Yeah, it is
and
a cool
people
song.
take what they want from it. Right, I will wrap things up. I'll say thanks for listening, Sandy.
Thanks for having me.
Folks out there, no problemo. Folks out there, tell us what you think of this Tindersticks, this track. And if you're familiar with this album, I think it's pretty damn good. It's not the top three. Those first three ones are just untouchable, but it's pretty good. Yeah, drop some comments to let us know what you think. And if you like this, please hit the like button and show us you care. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We would love to get you on board, and we do appreciate everybody who does support this channel. You clicking on these buttons to like and subscribe and viewing, it really helps the channel in a way that it's like a ball of snow going down the hill. It just, the more people do it, the more momentum it gets, and it gets into people's feeds, etc., until finally it's big enough to kill the village and crush everybody at the bottom. And that's what we're
Always
looking
been
for.
our goal. I mean,
It has, yeah. Those damn Austrians. Anyway, that being said, thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
see you later, guys.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss.